I'm here with Dr. David Robson, the Executive Chairman of Tethys Petroleum. David, you're a pure-play E&P firm focused in Central Asia, in Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, and Tajikistan. For those not familiar with the Tethys story, do you want to tell us a little bit more about your core business there?
Well, basically, we're working in Central Asia. We're involved both in production and exploration. Our focus really is on finding more oil, and our developments so far, particularly in Kazakhstan, have been organically driven. We found the oil. We're developing both oil and gas there, and we're now moving into an unconventional play in Georgia. So we're pretty much spread across the region. I believe we're the only independent that does that.
What does your production look like right now, and how do you plan on growing that?
Right now we're producing around about 3,000, just over 3,000 barrels a day from 3 wells in Kazakhstan. We've got additional wells which we need to bring on production, and we're drilling new wells to further enhance that. Of course, it depends on the success of those wells, but we certainly hope to double and triple that production from this new well drilling program. We're also producing gas, and right now we're producing about 15-16 million cubic feet per day of gas. That production will increase. We've got 5 new wells we're going to be drilling over the next few months. With the gas prices rising in the area, that's going to be a significantly enhanced income stream for us.
Now, I read on your website your assets in Tajikistan are targeting 27.5 billion barrels of oil equivalent. Did I read that right?
You did indeed. I mean, the potential there is enormous. It's the same basin that produces all of the gas and oil, in fact, in Turkmenistan and Uzbekistan, except it's never been explored in that part of the basin in Tajikistan. So there we're looking for very big reserves.
27 billion barrels of oil equivalent, underexplored, onshore, shallow wells. If it were easy, everyone would do it. What is it that you know that everyone else hasn't figured out yet?
Unfortunately, the wells are not shallow. They're quite deep wells. But I think it's really looking at the overall geological picture. I'm a geologist by background, and I have some extremely good explorationists on my team. And it's really looking at the exploration picture across the area. But as an independent, getting in there early, we were one of the first company to secure a production sharing contract in Tajikistan. So we built on that early entrance.
You've been in Tajikistan, I think, since 2007?
Yep.
6 years now. What have you accomplished so far? What do you hope to accomplish going forward? What's your plan there? What are the catalysts?
I mean, we've acquired a lot of data. We've drilled wells. We made a new oil discovery. We were producing a small amount of oil, but we've now brought in with us Total and CNPC, a big farm in. Their focus and ours now really is the deep exploration for this 27.5 billion barrels oil equivalent. So our focus has now gone deeper. We would expect to be drilling the first of the deep wells sometime probably towards the end of next year. We will start planning for that well. We're shooting more seismic in advance of that, and we would certainly expect that well to have a very good chance of success. And I'm talking about finding supergiant deposits.
Sometimes it happens with independent E&P firms, explorer specialists. Once they've found that supergiant, they have trouble monetizing it. That's not what they want to be doing. What's your plan? If you find out that you've discovered a supergiant field, does Tethys have a plan to produce from that, to develop it yourself, or what do you hope to monetize from that?
It all depends on the price. I mean, if we can, once we get to that point, if we can find a suitable buyer who's going to pay us a very good price for it, or for perhaps most of it, that may be the route we go. Or if the price isn't good enough, then we'll stick with our current partners and move forward. In terms of financing such a thing, with partners like Total and CNPC, and the new pipeline being built from that area directly into China, I don't envisage any problem whatsoever.
So Tethys is a 10-bagger?
Hope so. Why stop at 10?
Apart from Tajikistan, what else is it about Tethys in the investment story for you? Is there enough value in your other assets to make a compelling story to invest in Tethys?
Very much so. I mean, we have about 1.3, 1.5 billion barrels of additional resources in Kazakhstan in our current acreage there, which is much shallower, easier development, and that's there to be obviously discovered and brought on stream. Our new projects in Georgia There we've got about 2 to 3 billion barrels locked up, mainly in a very prolific source rock for a shale oil development. So there's other aspects of the business, and we're always looking for new angles.
So David, Central Asia, it's not exactly like working in the United States or Canada or a regime like that. Obviously there's some people going to be thinking that the government's there perhaps less than ideal in helping the cause of independent companies. How do you find working with the governments there? Do they work at a pace that is satisfactory for building your business, or other issues?
Well, obviously each of the countries is different and separate. For example, if you look at Kazakhstan, things do work quite slowly there, but no slower than they do, for example, in Canada. They have a proper system, proper bureaucracy, and it does take a little time. But it's possible to work with that and plan, providing you plan properly. Bringing equipment in is much more of a challenge. We don't have frac spreads available very easily to call up and get there. So that is a challenge, and once again, you have to plan ahead. If we look at somewhere like Georgia, which is now becoming much more Western, there it's also on the Black Sea, so the ability to get equipment in there and the sensitivity of the government to encouraging solid business and working relatively quickly means that probably right now is the area with least of the, call it, bureaucratic hurdles than the others.
David, perhaps a leading question is 2014 is, from what you're saying, a transformational year potentially for Tethys if all goes well. Is it a game-changing year? You've been around for a little while now. Are we on the edge of the curve right now, or?
Well, I mean, just over the last few months, we've secured 2 new deals, transformational deals as described by the analysts. One being our farm into Tajikistan, the other being the recent acquisition by, I believe, the first Beijing-based private equity group of part of our asset in Kazakhstan. So I think on the back of that, we can really drive things forward with more investment in Kazakhstan and, of course, our Georgian asset, and who knows where else, because the business model we have, we can apply in other places too. So I hope so.
One thing I'm asking everybody that I'm interviewing, what are the lessons from 2013 that you have learned that are most important for taking into your 2014 business planning?
Planning. Make sure if you can plan things correctly, you will be able to implement them better. So we're focusing an awful lot now on longer term planning, whereas in the past perhaps that was less of a focus for us, but as we're growing bigger, we're able to do that.
David, wish you the best of luck in next year, and thanks for coming by.
Thank you very much.